Hey everybody, it's John Ray with Project X, Jade, and SmartCoin, and I'm going to be chatting in each of these videos with the people who submitted proposals for Project X. And so we're going through the list. This one, I've set a keyword as Gen Wealth, and I'll be speaking with Wendall Lambo, who submitted this proposal. But before we get into our conversation, just so you know, you can take these are basically the top voted proposals in Discord as of 124. If you go into the Jade Discord, into the search, and search for each of these key terms, it should bring up the proposal, and then you can read through this. And if you like it, you can upvote it. If you don't like it, you can downvote it. And we're basically taking the net score of this to determine the ranking of these proposals. So I've got Wendall Lambo here on the line. How are we doing today?
I'm good, John. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. Excited to chat with you about generational wealth token. So
Yeah.
this is going to be a high level conversation just to help the community kind of better understand your intention behind this. So maybe high level, can you walk us through why generational wealth token, was what you wanted to submit and how you see it fitting into Project X?
Yeah. Basically, this is a very kind of broad overview, large brushstrokes. I'm really just playing in the sandbox. And I wanted to propose this project for Project X, just to see the kind of community kind of assessment and feedback. And by that note, I'm open to all ideas and input. I'm not precious about anything. So if you've got any suggestions too, John, during this conversation, then please go ahead and chime in. But generational wealth token is basically having a bash at something that is a digital or crypto will or testament. And a lot of the, in my mind, a lot of the kind of mass adoption that can happen with crypto is when we interact with TradFi and traditional ideas and recreate perhaps financial instruments or things in the real world, in the crypto world. And I think, this isn't an easy one to crack by any imagination. And for that reason, it might not be right for Project X. But I wanted to flesh this out anyway and just see what people said. Yeah. So the basics of it is that a large amount of crypto is left unclaimed, some from following death or serious illness. And, 20% of Bitcoin is branded about as unclaimed. Obviously, some of this is due to lost keys also. So it's not all from death or serious illness. But my idea is, what if we could provide a solution that acted as a digital will using smart contracts in such an event? Or even before such an event, when someone's perhaps knows they're going to be ill or they're getting elderly, then they could activate the smart contracts or sign up. And the customer's portfolio could then be converted from whatever their digital assets are to GWT, generational wealth token. And my concept was it would be distributed to predetermined wallets provided by the customer for next of kin or loved ones. Now, how practical that is at this stage in cryptocurrency development is another discussion altogether. But we're just talking about big ideas, blue sky thinking here. Yeah. But the other problem this really addresses, and this is something I keep coming up against, is if you want to gift or leave crypto to somebody who's not in the crypto community or crypto space, it's almost impossible for them to get their head around even basic concepts. And so my idea was to create a user interface for these kind of people, the people who are the next of kin wallets, that is actually so simple and straightforward that they could quite easily transfer their GWT to their bank account. It's just basically a very simple screen and process. But by that token, it would actually have to be a very stripped down, limited kind of off-ramp exchange, a crypto wallet, and an extremely simple UI. I think that's the crux of the project. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I mean, there's more to it, but I'll leave it there for now.
It's basic. It reminds me of like in the hacker world, it's called a dead man's switch, where if you don't log in to your account, or if you have been officially announced as deceased, then basically a smart contract or a series of software triggers and performs a bunch of actions. And so in this particular event with generational wealth token, I guess somebody would basically register all of their available wallets into generational wealth token, and there would have to be some kind of a switch or something where the death could be confirmed, which would be something that we'd have to think about. You know, because we would want to make sure that there isn't a way to like fake a death certificate or something, right? And so we'd have with a dead man switch, basically the way it would work is you set the time parameters where, okay, if I don't log in once every 30 days, then consider that I'm no longer in a place to manage my money or something. So have you thought at all about kind of what that official notice of someone being a deceased would look like and how that could trigger in the system?
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 points I foresee where you could convert a portfolio to GWT. The first one being after proof of death, and that's the most difficult one, as you've identified. I mean, that's kind of a substantially more difficult problem to solve than the other two, which are instigated by the customer, which is, when instructed by the customer, which could be, we could have a calendar option available for that. And that might be when one is worried about, one's health or safety or security or close to end of life.
Mm.
And the other one is on sign up. And that's with Jade's price floor model. That's something that came to me, is that some people might want to, convert their digital portfolio, digital assets into, something with a price floor and an only up design right away,
Yeah.
it's up to them. But going back to the proof of death thing, might have to have a third-party subcontract to go through proof of death claims. It's that kind of right for a partnership, maybe with TradFi, a life insurance partnership or some kind. I can foresee like several partnerships being really, really good in this project, but it's a question of building the tech out and seeing if it works and the concept is good, and then going for those partnerships. But definitely a partnership with like a life insurance, traditional finance company, or even a way to ensure someone's digital portfolio. I mean, we don't have that in crypto. We don't have those aspects that give people security and trust and integrity in crypto. And I think for crypto to go mainstream, with widespread adoption, we need to start thinking about bringing those things into the crypto world. And this project is kind of right at that crossroads. So another idea was perhaps, the partnership with a large crypto company such as crypto.com. I mean, I think the possibilities are endless if this core project is built out and works. So, I think that, doing anything in the real world involves real people, so third-party contractors, definitely, maybe partnerships.
I think one of the things that I'm thinking about with all of our Project X proposals is basically how it could be phased out, because the idea or the ideal scenario would be to have a minimum viable product that could be launched quickly and be an ROI quickly, so that we can all, basically start to see the fruits of some of the effort, that we've put into not only our investments, but into building out Project X, right? And so for this, I think likely, option B and C would be the minimum viable product, where it's somebody registering their accounts and essentially being able to set up a timetable of when those accounts transfer to somebody else. And maybe there's some educational tools where, hey, when I die, I'm going to send this to my brother who knows nothing about crypto. And so there needs to be a certain level of education to get him up to speed to be able to use the basic functionality. However, being in partnership with Jade, where that money could then be allocated into Jade's essentially crypto ETF, could be an interesting partnership there. I just wonder, do you have any sense of, how quickly or where some of the profit margin would come from? One thing that potentially comes to me is there could be a management fee of some of the money that then is being managed by the generational wealth token fund, perhaps. What do you see as the mechanisms for delivering ROI?
Yeah, I think that's a good point, that there could be fees and also transaction fees. The big issue with a project like this, and this is where the partnerships would really come in, is trust and integrity. Why would anyone sign up and trust a small project with their crypto portfolios? And so, maybe it's not right for Project X right now, and maybe it's not even right for Jade right now until there's like some kind of community sentiment that this is a long-standing project. It might be better for somebody like Avalanche, or a more a project with more longevity and more weight behind it. But I think that obviously I haven't really thought about the tokenomics that much, but there would be massive buys when portfolios are exchanged for GWT, and the sales would be obviously when next of kin exchange the GWT for fiat or other crypto. But I believe the potential for this market could create huge speculative demand as well. I mean, if the project starts taking off, it reminds me a little bit of that EWT token. It's one of those things that's very speculative, and that could determine the price. But the price floor model as well that Jade has. I mean, we could do one of two things. We could just copy that price floor model and apply it to GWT as a separate project, or we could do something that essentially makes GWT act as wrapJade and do it that way.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, I definitely see the corollary between this project and Jade, because essentially it's a transfer of wealth, and that wealth could potentially, buy into Jade and get exposure to Jade's investments. But yeah, as Jade continues to hold the floor, as the new ROI reports come out each month, and those positive investments develop a track record, I think it becomes more feasible to launch something like this with Jade as a partner. And so, yeah, well, I think the purpose of this video is just to kind of pitch the high level idea, and then let the community come in and fill in some of the gaps. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think some of the things that I would love to hear the community comment on are potential tokenomics, potential short-term, profit potential versus long-term. So, in this model, some of that transfer of wealth is dependent upon someone dying, right? And so that puts a timeline on an extended timeline on customer acquisition. However, if I'm putting my money into the generational wealth token system, and there are some immediate benefits to me before I transfer that wealth, it almost seems like it could operate as like an ETF or mutual fund, similar to how Jade is, or in partnership, but the branding is around, there's an easy handoff to family and education for family once, when that needs to happen. I mean, is that in line with how you're thinking?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm totally open to suggestions and ideas, comments. There's another aspect to this as well, which is almost a byproduct of this, which is that with the next of kin wallets specifically being designed for people who have no previous experience with crypto, there's another thing here. if our UI or UX will be many people's first experience of crypto, think of the possibilities of onboarding those people or marketing brand awareness to not only this project, but to crypto. I mean, you're getting those people into crypto for the very first time. Now, sure, some of them might just be cashing out and transferring back to their bank accounts. But what if we could do something, you know, a little voodoo-ish here, like, so the UI for claiming inheritance crypto should be very oversimplistic. But should they log in a second or maybe a third time, then the UI offers more options to entice the user into crypto or into our project in other ways. You know, the possibilities are kind of endless there, you know?
Yeah, I think it would be interesting for the community to comment on how some of the tokenomics could work. Comment on how some of the fee structure could work. I mean, one option I see would be to take a percentage for basically managing the money that is inherited into the next of kin account. The other would be, you know, maybe there is a partnership with something like Giving Block or like a charitable organization where some of that money can be earmarked for charity, and maybe some of it is earmarked for the generational wealth community. We'll have to think a little bit more deeply on what that could look like. My biggest kind of ask for the community is, in any of these proposals, what I'd like to do is create multi-phase builds where phase one is minimum viable product that can be launched in a 90 to 120 day period that starts to showcase all smart coin and anyone involved with Project X starts to showcase some semblance of ROI very early on, because we want that early win in order to bolster enthusiasm, in order to grow the community quickly, and in order to hit a tipping point quickly. And so with all of these, I think if we can start putting together, here's the 90-day plan, here's the 6-month plan, here's the 12-month plan, here's the 18-month plan, that will be useful as a visualization for thinking about, is this really the project that we want? Because if profitability doesn't come in until month 6 or 12, then the community may not be as interested as a project that could potentially be profitable within the next 90 to 120 days. So in your mind, you know, what kind of timeline do you think this project has?
You know, I think this is a big project. It's a massive undertaking, actually, but potentially solves a massive problem. And so it's probably longer term. And as you say, you know, we could probably do a stripped down project that doesn't involve the proof of dev aspect in a relatively short time frame. But I don't know. I'm thinking at least 6 months. But I will say this, that I think the first project or team to crack this is potentially, you know, gonna make bank with this. It's kind of in an inevitability. I think if cryptocurrency is going to develop and go mainstream, I mean, someone's got to do this.
Yeah, I think that's right, and I think that's why the community has responded to it. I mean, clearly it's something that is going to become a growing need. And so now, as part of Project X, if this is an idea that you really want Project X to pursue, we need to, as a community, and I'm speaking to everybody listening, develop some of the detail and the roadmap for what this could look like, and how it relates to smart coin token holders allocation in the project. So, you know, there are probably plenty of add-on ideas that could go along with this that may make it more interesting in the short term. So if you like this project and you know, want to help develop it, I would say reach out to Wendall Lambo or myself. You can pitch an add-on idea. To pitch an add-on idea, you would go into the Discord, click on PRX announcements here, and then click on pitch your Project X idea. And I've added in this a option that this is an add-on to a proposal that was already submitted. So you would just select that, and you would basically just take this keyword here, and you would say add on to Gen Wealth, and then you would pitch whatever your add-on is. And I think if this is a project the community wants to do, this is the right way to develop some of that detail. And over the next week or two, we can continue to showcase how this project evolves and maybe get it in the format of some kind of a white paper if the community wants to pursue it in that way. So now it's turned over to the community to provide that detail and provide the extra analysis on how the tokenomics could look. And Wendell, anything that you would communicate to the community about where you think this should go, or some next steps?
Not really, no. As I said when I started, I mean, I'm open to all discussion, criticisms, critiques, input, ideas. Just you know, if you think it's a load of crap, tell me. I won't be offended. You know, I will say I really like your idea, John. So I voted for you. But no, I'm happy to leave it there. Yeah, no, I'm happy to be part of this community, and we've got a chance to even just propose ideas in Project X. You know, after everything we've been through, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you taking the time to think about it, to present something. You know, clearly the community responded to it. So now it's up to the community to decide, is this something that we fill out with a little bit more detail, and create a white page around that gives us a true roadmap of what this would look like over time? Is this something that gets tabled and maybe pitched to Jade down the line? And maybe there's a group of people that want to build it out a little bit further for that use case. Or is this a project that some other development team in the community wants to jump on? I think there's a lot of ways that people can engage with these proposals. So if this is something that you want to see in Project X, make sure that you go and search out Gen Wealth, go to the proposal, and if you have not voted on it, make sure that you upvote it. Oops, I voted up and down because I was the first one to put the emojis in. So yeah, make sure that you vote on this. And Wendall, I appreciate you taking some time to lay out some of your ideas. And I also appreciate all your contributions to the community on Twitter and beyond. So thanks for being here. Thanks for presenting. And yeah, we'll see everybody in the next one. Bye.
Thanks, John. Thanks.
Yep.